This week, Alex and I traveled to Naperville, Illinois, site of the Jigsaw $25,000 Chicago Open, the first stop for this year's APP Tour. While I was busy finding a play to highlight, Alex's job was to find a pro to help us break it down. Here's how this works. You send us highlights, great plays, good plays, and not so good plays. With the help of Coach Alex Fox, we break it down. You learn, we watch, and we all get better. This is Pickleball Breakdown. Alex, nice job. Sent him on a mission to find some pros to break us this video down, and he comes back with Kyle Yates, so that's a nice job, Alex. Welcome. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's going to be fun.
Hey, before we get started on this breakdown, and we've got a pretty good play to break down, I want to ask you, we just all love watching the pros play, especially you, but we can't all do what pros do. Give me something that I can do or people like me can do that Kyle Yates does.
Well, I think a lot of it is just having a purpose. You know, a lot of the pros, we go into every match with some sort of game plan. We kind of know what we're trying to do. I feel like a lot of players go out and they play and they hit a lot of shots, and I think if you ask them, what did you mean to do there, they might say, I don't know. So I think just having a purpose and trying to be a little more deliberate with where you're trying to hit the ball and what you're trying to do, and that way, if you get off game plan, you kind of reel it back in.
And it doesn't have to be overly complex, I take it?
No, a lot of the times it's just, let's just keep the ball down. Mm-hmm. Let's try to make them dink some more. Let's keep it low to their backhands. Simple things like that.
Okay, awesome. Again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for that tip that we all can use. Have a purpose when you step out there on the course. Let's break this play down. We've got a mixed 4-0 50-plus match here between Kim and Scott, who's going to be in the near court, and Gail and Tim in the far court. This is an interesting point, a lot going on here. What's some of the things you see right away?
Well, you could tell each team is trying to get into the point a little bit. Both teams had a chance to win the point early on.
There was a moment, Alex, that you mentioned where Tim actually switches hands on a dink and he throws the paddle from his right hand to his left hand.
So I'm not a huge fan of that tactic. I think it's better to just do a crossover step and hit a backhand. I think where people get in trouble is they try to do too much with a sharp angled backhand dink, and they try to take it all the way back cross court instead of just doing like a reset dink, a defensive dink back towards the middle or even straight across from you. If you feel like you can do it or you need to do it, go for it.
Well, I think the issue there was his mobility. I think he probably didn't think he could get to it in time, so the quick switch, he might not have had to move as much. And he played it smart. He didn't panic. He just switched, dropped it back in the kitchen as a nice, low dink, and they were able to keep going.
Keep going they do, and so do we. Scott is going to pop this one up, and Kyle, you see this as a missed chance for Tim.
For some reason, Tim decided not to even move for it. I think if Tim was able to drop step and take an overhead on it, they could have won the point right away. He let his partner go back and let it bounce and take a backhand on it.
Gail was fighting both the wind and the sun, but she did a really nice job of doing that and managed to get the ball back. She was just surviving at that point.
I will just say that wind is definitely a factor here, so This might throw off some of the plans that we got going on.
And to her credit, she handled it pretty well. She stayed pretty calm. She tried not to do too much. She settled down, got themselves back in the point, and I think that actually saved them.
All right, there's one moment right near the end where Gail does a really good job of digging the ball out and getting it back over to Kim, and that's the beginning of the end of the point.
Yeah, ultimately that's what ended up costing Kim and Scott the point, where Gail had to actually short up ball and floated it. And Kim actually had a high forehand, and instead of swinging and attacking the person in front of her, attacking Gail essentially, I feel like she didn't do enough with that ball, and she kind of just took a stab at it, and whether advertently or not, she pushed it right over to Tim's forehand, and he took full advantage and just took a full swing and slapped it down the middle for the winner.
So what would you like to have seen her do in that situation?
Well, she should have noticed that Gail was on defense, so she was back in the court a little bit, short hopping a ball, probably going to lift it. I would have liked to see her look to be aggressive, maybe get right on that line, leaning forward, knowing that Gail's about to pop that ball up, and look to maybe try to do something more aggressive with it. I think she was either shocked that Gail popped it up or maybe not quite ready, and then was just reacting to it and naturally pushed it right over to Tim.
A common mistake that I see in a lot of players is not knowing whether you're on offense or defense. I think that's a very important skill to have, just that recognition. Okay, this is what I should be looking for, and what is their next shot likely going to be, and just that anticipation.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, about anticipation and really knowing what your opponent's options are in that moment, but it takes a lot of fast brain processing to get that done. But that's the whole trick, is being able to see that coming.
Yep,
Of course.
sure.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Kyle, again, thank you very much for helping us break this point down.
That was great. A lot of fun. Thanks.
That's going to do it for this episode of Pickleball Breakdown. If you want us to break down your game, send a link to your video to pickleballbreakdown@gmail.com. If you liked this episode, share it, like it, and subscribe. See you next time.